Hello and welcome back to Slut University. If you're new here, I'm Carmen, your professor, and today we're going to be talking about hoeing from home and how to bring up the what are you into topic during the talking stage. And if I have time, I'll add some scripts for how to get out of the talking stage. So let's start with hoeing from home. Because of COVID, I know a lot of you are living at home. If you're unsure about how your parents would feel about you bringing someone home, ask them. Tell them you're dating and ask them how they would feel if you were to bring somebody home. But I know that a lot of you do have conservative parents, so whether or not you've had the reverse sex talk with your parents, here are some tips to make it a little bit sneakier. First of all, before bringing anyone home, case your place. Find all the squeaks, all the weird noises. When you do bring somebody in, take their shoes with you. If your headboard is against the wall, put a blanket between the headboard and the wall so it doesn't create that banging sound. Also, maybe use this as an opportunity to do some risky shit. If you have a car or if they have a car, do it in the car. Maybe a really secluded spot in the park. Personally, I have a locations bucket list of all the places that I wanna do it. If you're the bold type, can be a lot of fun. Also, maybe choose who you're hooking up with wisely. Maybe someone who doesn't live at home so that you don't have to take them home. Now, this will definitely not be the last time we talk about hoeing from home, but I would like to move on to bringing up the what are you into topic during the talking stage. Now, here's something to know for women who are too shy to bring it up. Some men will not bring it up because they want the woman to bring it up because they want to make sure that she's comfortable with that topic. So once you are comfortable talking about it, just bring it up. It's not a conversation you should shy away from having because why else are you talking to them? But here are some conversation starters. My personal favorite is you know what they say about ... Ones that I've used. You know what they say about Catholic school girls. You know what they say about girls with glasses. You know what they say about short girls. You get the point. Any guy will then be like, well, what do they say? Boom, you're talking about it. Another one for my bold ones, something that I've done, is I'll ask them if they've taken the BDSM test as a joke. And if they haven't, then I make them take it with me. It's honestly fucking hilarious, and it shows them that you're open to trying new things. Other ways, ask them how they lost their virginity. Ask them where the weirdest place they've ever done it is. This probably won't be the last time we talk about the talking stage, but I would like to move on. Now let's talk about talking stage scripts. First of all, I want to say whenever you're having these conversations, try to be as nonchalant and understanding as possible. You want to create a comfortable environment for this conversation. Also, don't bring up this conversation until you have a general idea of what you want. The first thing you can ask is, what kind of relationship are you looking for? You'll either get an actual answer or you'll just get a bullshit answer that they just kind of throw together. It doesn't matter because then they'll end up asking you, what are you looking for? And here's what you're gonna say. I really like talking to you, and I would really like to move forward with this relationship. Personally, I'm just looking for enter relationship type here. And I just want to know what your thoughts are on that. I'm open to discussing it. Here's another one. I really like the way things are going between us, and I just want to be on the same page as to what we both want. Ideally, I'd be looking for insert relationship type here, but I'm open to exploring other options. What are your thoughts? These conversations shouldn't be hard to have if you're both mature enough. And if they're not, you don't want them anyway. Also, another important thing about these conversations is if they say they're unsure of what they want, but you still want to talk to them, just tell them that it's okay. We can readdress this at a later date, but make sure you're readdressing it and you're not letting them lead you on. Now that's all I have time for today. Next time on Slut University, we're going to be talking about dating apps for the alphabet mafia and what to do when you find yourself in a situationship. If you want to make sure you see those things, hit that follow button. Until next time, happy hoeing. Welcome back to Slut University. Class is now in session. If you're new here, I'm Carmen, your professor, and today we're talking about dating apps for the LGBTQ+, and what to do when you find yourself in a situationship. Now let's start off strong with dating apps for the alphabet mafia. First off, I just want to say you have to be a lot more cautious with dating apps as a queer person than you do as a straight person. Not just for your physical safety, but for your emotional safety as well. There are a lot of people on queer dating apps that are on there hunting for the LGBTQ to physically harm them, or people who are just wanting to experiment and don't actually say that. If you haven't already, please go watch my safety tips video. It's the first Slut University episode. So let's do a quick run through of dating apps for the LGBTQ. So there's Her for Women Love Women. It's strictly for gay women, so I would use that instead of Tinder or Bumble or anything like that if you are a lesbian. There's Grindr for gay, bi, trans, and queer people. That one is very NSFW. That one is strictly for hookups. Jesus. Anyways, there are a lot of bots on that one, and I've heard a lot of horror stories, so please be very, very careful with that one. As for what to put in your bio, especially if you're using all of the dating apps, state your intentions in your bio. For example, I would put, I'm a bisexual cis female looking for something casual. If you're not looking for a hookup, put no hookups in the bio. It'll scare away anybody who's looking to just experiment. If you're poly, state that. And if you are experimenting, state that. There are definitely people out there who will be willing to let you experiment with them. Finally, when you match with somebody, FaceTime them before you meet them. I say this especially for queer dating apps because then you can vibe them out without having to put yourself at risk right away. Sometimes even when you're meeting them in public, things can go wrong. After the FaceTime, if you're comfortable enough, then I say meet them in public. Take it slow in the beginning because as I said, there's still a lot of hatred in the world against plus, the LGBTQ, and obviously you want to avoid being the next horror story. This probably won't be the last time we talk about dating for the LGBTQ plus. I want to move on to what to do if you find yourself in a situationship. Now, I've said this once, I've said it a million times. The only reason a situationship is a situationship is because one or both of you are avoiding having the what are we talk. Isn't a situationship if both of you are on the same page as to what the relationship is. If both of you are okay with doing whatever you're doing and seeing other people, you're in a non-monogamous relationship. Boom. All you have to do is be straight up with them. If you want a relationship, stop chasing after the person who doesn't want one with you and find someone who does. Sooner you accept that that person's just not that into you, the better. Stop compromising. All that does is get you hurt. You can understand the fear of rejection because most people, when faced with the idea of being rejected, put it back onto themselves and think, what's wrong with me? The answer is nothing. Unfortunately, that person just doesn't see or doesn't want to see your specialness. That's not your fault. You could vibe with someone so well and they could still not want a relationship with you. And that has more to do with them than it does with you. Now that is all I have time for today. Next time on Slut University, we're going to do Building Confidence in the Bedroom Part 2 and Risky Picks Part 2. If you want to make sure you see those things, hit that follow button. And if you want to make sure you don't miss a class, follow my Instagram. Until next time, and happy hoeing. Welcome back to Slut University. If you're new here, I'm Karma, your professor. Today, we're going to be talking about how to set boundaries, how to have the STD talk, and since so many people were confused by it the last time, I'm going to talk about the 3-week exit. Also, just so you're all aware, I'm going to be uploading every single Slut U class to my Instagram because one of them was taken down, and if that happens in the future, I'm not going to re-upload it because I don't want to piss off the TikTok gods. If you want to make sure you don't miss a class, you can find them there underneath my IGTV. Now let's begin with how to set some boundaries. Now, when you're talking to someone, it's always better to set your boundaries earlier rather than later, but it is never too late to have that talk. But before you do have that talk, make sure you have your non-negotiables already figured out. If you're unsure of what your non-negotiables should be, first figure out what kind of casual relationship that you want, whether it be friends with benefits, polyamorous, etc., etc. Here are some of my non-negotiables, and maybe that'll give you a better idea as to what you want yours to be. Number 1, no physical intimacy outside of the bedroom. Number 2, no personal favors. What that means is I'm not gonna help you move, I'm not gonna babysit your cat if you're out of town, shit like that. Number 3, no mixing of personal lives, which means I'm not gonna introduce you to my friends, you're never gonna meet my family. This relationship is strictly between us. Now remember when you're setting boundaries that it is okay to change your mind later and renegotiate the terms of the relationship. Make sure that you listen to what they need. It's okay to say no and walk away at any time, but you also have to be prepared for them to say no and walk away. This will not be the last time we talk about boundaries, but I would like to move on to having the STD talk. Now, full transparency, I don't often ask this question if I'm just hooking up with someone one time, but if that's what you need to do to make yourself feel safe, then definitely do it. It's better to just simply ask instead of beating around the bush. Just come out and be like, have you ever had an STD? And see what happens. If you're not that bold, you can also say, hey, this is hard for me to talk about, but I think it's very important. When was the last time you were tested? Here's another one. Just so you're aware, I got tested for an STD X amount of time ago. I didn't have anything. When was the last time you were tested? Here's something very important. Sometimes they could say no and you could still end up with an STD. It's important not to place blame. Most people wouldn't knowingly infect somebody. Just hit them up, let them know, and then go get it treated. Now, I'm sure this won't be the last time we talk about the STD conversation, but I would like to move on to the 3-week exit. You may be familiar with the show How I Met Your Mother, specifically the character Barney Stinson. He has this theory called the freeway theory, where relationships are like a freeway, and like a freeway, it has exits. There's the one night, aka the one night stand, 3 weeks, aka the talking stage, and 3 months, aka the honeymoon phase. This rule, personally, I only think works if you're looking for a casual relationship. If you're looking for something more, the talking stage can last up to 5 to 6 weeks. No talking stage should go longer than 3 months. If y'all are talking for longer than 3 months and you have not figured out what you are, it's because one of you or both of you is playing relationship chicken. Get out of the talking stage, you don't have to label it. It's just establishing that you do indeed like each other and you are in fact going to pursue something, you just don't know what it is yet. If you have any further questions on that, leave it in the comments below. And that is all I have time for today. Next time on Slut University, it's a very special class. I'm going to be talking about the art of the risky pick. I also may touch on the gag reflex thing, we'll see. If you want to make sure you see those things, hit that follow button. Welcome to the group chat bestie and happy hoeing. Welcome back to Slut University. Class is now in session. If you're new here, I'm Karma, your professor, and today we're going to be talking about the art of the risky pick. That's how I'm going to be referring to them so that this doesn't get taken down. Anyways, the first thing I want to say though is you do not have to take them or send them to be a good hoe. I know plenty of people who don't send risky pics, and personally I take them more for myself than I do for the person I'm sending them to. I love taking them. I'm an artsy bitch. It makes me feel confident and sexy to see myself that way. So I'm going to give you some tips though on how to take good ones. At the end of this video, I'm going to put 2 pictures of poses that you can do for mirror selfies. So first things first, if you are going to send risky pics, watermark your photo. I'm a basic bitch. I just number mine. One of my friends puts like the name of the person she's sending it to somewhere in the picture. Now, I've never had my stuff leaked, but just in case, you're gonna want to do it. Now, Now for your necessities. For the love of God, stuffed timer is your best friend. There's only so many selfies you can take. It opens up a whole new avenue of risky pics. Ice cubes makes them hard, makes them stand out more. Maybe invest in some baby oil. Also, if you're able to catch my kitty pic tutorial before it got taken down, you know the importance of lube. It really helps if your kitty ain't cooperating. It makes you look like a waterfall. This one's for everyone, okay? Videos, gifts, boomerangs, way better than pics. Some handy tips. Follow boudoir photographers. I follow the boudoir tag on Instagram and I get so much inspiration from it. There's even photographers on TikTok that you can follow. Also remember that with a risky pic, you don't have to go full birthday suit. A partial is just as good as a full. Leave something to the imagination, you know what I'm saying? All right, now what you've probably all been waiting for, the gag reflex tips. Personally, I've always had a weak gag reflex, but here's how you work on controlling it. The best way to reduce and or eliminate your gag reflex is by gradually getting your soft palate used to being touched. One technique that many of you may know is the toothbrush at the back of the tongue. Brush that area for about 15 seconds and repeat that process once a day until you no longer gag. Then that area has been desensitized. Then move the toothbrush further back and keep going. Desensitizing that area takes usually about a month. Also, when you're doing that, relax. Try not to focus too hard on it. Just focus on opening the back of your throat. Also, this is another time when I say get a sex toy. Practice makes perfect, guys. And that is all I have time for today. Next time on Slut University, we'll be talking about hoeing from home and how to approach the what are you into topic during the talking stage. And if I have time, I'll throw in some scripts for getting out of the talking stage. Now, as promised, here is a mirror pose. For this one, you're gonna set your camera up behind you. It's slightly angled up. You're practicing the rule of thirds here. Lean slightly forward and arch your back upwards. Camera your best saucy eyes. Here's another variation for my people into partials. If you have long hair, you can use it to cover your chest. That arm to cover your cooch. Look in the mirror like you're kind of having an existential crisis, but make it sexy. Just remember, it's all about feeling yourself. I hope this helped you, babes. And until next time, happy hoeing. Hello and welcome back to Slut University. If you're new here, I'm Carmen, your professor. And today we're going to be talking about condoms and ways to make sex better. Now let's start off strong with condoms. Now I have talked about them before, but not in Slut University, so I feel like it's a good thing to go over. So let's talk sizes. If you're unfamiliar, there's snug, regular, and large fit. Now sizes do vary by manufacturer, but here's the basics of like what size fits what. Now, if you're like me, I carry all 3 sizes just in case. But if you're unsure, then just buy regular fit. I've honestly never gone wrong with those ones. Now let's move on to the materials. There's your standard latex, which everyone pretty much uses. I don't though, and here's why. It is thin, flexible, and a good barrier against sperm, bacteria, and viruses, but latex is bad at transferring heat, therefore it can take away from that pleasurable sensation. Also, with latex, you should avoid using oil-based lubricants because oil breaks down latex, so water-based. It is polyurethane. It's a plastic material, it's thinner than latex, and it's better at transferring heat, and it protects from HIV and STIs. The only downside is that it is less flexible, and it is more fragile than latex. Now, the ones that I buy are polyisoprene. It's very similar to latex, but it lacks the proteins to cause an allergic reaction. It's thicker than polyurethane, but it feels the most like skin. I started buying them because I got a guy who told me that he had a latex allergy, and I had a guy who told me that latex just doesn't feel as good, so I started buying these. There's also lambskin, but they're literally shit. Don't get lambskin. Now let's move on to how to make the devil's tango better. First of all, women, don't wear cotton undies right before you go at it because cotton traps lint, and you know, let's avoid that embarrassment. Drink cranberry juice for health, and it helps make you taste a little bit sweeter. Remember, women, literally anything you eat or drink can affect the way your coochie smells, tastes, all of that. Cranberry juice is like the equivalent of pineapple juice for dudes. Fish oil, it reduces inflammation and boosts testosterone, which is your horny hormone. And it opens up your blood vessels down there so that you're a little bit more sensitive. You can take fish oil supplements, just eat more fish, anything like that. I will never not say this, but please use that one water-based thing that is like, it's like a liquid. Yeah, it goes down there. I can't say it. Do Kegels, okay? They can make your climax better and more intense. When you're in the act, breathe. People don't realize how important steady breathing is during it. Trust me, it helps. If you're in missionary, put a pillow underneath your butt or lower back. If you're lying down on your stomach, put a pillow underneath your abdomen. And finally, know that you're entitled to good sex. Don't focus so hard on the end result and focus on the journey. You don't have to climax for it to be considered good sex. It does help, but it's not necessary. Anyway, that's all I have time for today. Next time on Slut University, I'm going to give makeout tips and how to be unbothered. If you want to make sure you see those things, hit that follow button. If there's anything you want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. Until next time, besties, and happy hoeing. Welcome back to Slut University. Class is now in session. If you're new here, I'm Carmen, your professor, and today I'm going to be giving tips on a highly requested subject, making out, and I'm going to talk about how to be unbothered. So let's set the scene. You and your partner have both been flirting, everything's going well, clear consent has been given, you or they start to lean in. What do? Relax your body, don't be so tense. Take a deep breath. Odds are your partner's been dying to kiss you the whole night as well. Tilt your head because you got noses, so you don't want to bump noses. If you both tilt your head in the same direction, don't panic, just tilt your head the other way. If it ends up being one of those things where it's like someone's in front of you and you both like move in the same direction, just laugh it off. It's not a big deal. While you're laughing, just like grab their face and tilt it the right way. Be assertive. When you're kissing, just start off simple with your lips. While it may be tempting to just like go in for the French, the build up to a deeper kiss can be incredibly sensual for both parties. Begin with a few closed mouth kisses, tongueless kisses, that's important. Alternate between like lightly brushing your lips together to more powerful kisses. Then you do the closed open mouth kiss. Be mindful of your hand placement. While you can leave your hands at your sides, adding a gentle caress here and there, maybe like gripping the hair at the nape of the neck, that one will drive a man crazy. Now things are getting deeper, you've got your hands all over each other. It's like lightly brush your tongue along their bottom lip. It's a good nonverbal way to ask for permission to deepen the kiss. If your partner extends their tongue in response, that's a yes. Move your tongue in like a circular pattern. If you're still unsure on what to do in the moment, pay attention to what their tongue is doing. Now, if you want to make the makeout session more fun, wear lip gloss. Extra points if it's flavored. It's just more fun. It makes things a little bit sticky, smooth even, and it doesn't smudge all over your face and stay there like lipstick does. Unless you have like the perfect lip stain or whatever, I am a lip gloss advocate. Don't be afraid to use your teeth. Lightly biting or sucking on someone's bottom lip during a makeout session can take things to a whole new level. Now, if you have any other questions on that, leave it in the comments below, but I would like to move on to how to be unbothered. Now, I get asked all the time, how do you just like ask people out? And if they say no, you're fine. Are you so nonchalant? How do you like not let things bother you? Now, being unbothered means just like not experiencing mental or physical discomfort, or just like being indifferent or not provoked by negativity. Now, being unbothered is not something that you just can do. It takes time to learn how to not let things affect you. First off, stop falling into the comparison trap. It is a natural psychological tendency to compare yourself to others, but pay attention to how you're comparing yourself. Stop comparing your worst to somebody else's best. Start thinking more realistically. Keep your expectations in check. Are we thinking realistically or are we thinking fantasy? Things don't always go the way that we want them to, and that's okay. High expectations create an illusion of certainty that's just not real. It's a deluded perception that we can control everything and everyone, which is not true. Remember, just because you can't control everything doesn't mean you can't succeed. Become your biggest priority. Focus on you and your mental health. Make sure your mental health is in check and that it's not making your decisions for you. Stop letting people make decisions for you. Concentrate on how you feel and not how everyone else is feeling about you. Now, that is all I have time for today. I hope that helped you, babes, and happy hoeing. Welcome back to Slut University. Class is now in session. If you're new here, I'm Karma, your professor, and today we're going to be talking about building a roster. Now let's jump right into it. So, one thing that took me a really long time to learn is that the best time to have a roster is not in the summer. It is in fact fall, winter, sometimes spring. Let me paint you a picture. Summer, all the beautiful bitches are out on the town, all of us looking for dick. No one wants to commit to anybody. Ghosting's on the rise. No one's responding to text messages after they fuck. It's super hard to have an effective roster in the summertime. Autumn is the best time to start building your roster. Why? Everyone is looking to cuff, but no one's looking to commit. It is ridiculously easy to start talking to someone and get all cozy with them, but not have to commit to them. This time of year is also when situationships are on the rise. When you build a roster, there can only be one person that you're willing to actually cuff to, and that person will be your number one. But remember your boundaries, okay? Yes, the number one person is the only person you'd cuff to, but you cannot treat them like you're already cuffed. It's sex and it's nothing unless one of you says otherwise, because that's how you get your heart broken, babes. Now, as an experienced slut, I can keep up to 7 people on a roster, but now I'm a very busy slut, so at this point in my life, I think I can only handle like 3 to 5. If you're a newbie hoe, then I would suggest only 3. Like my usual is 5, so I'm just gonna give you the criteria for the 5. So as I said, number 1 is the only one you cuff to, but you can't actually treat them like you're fucking cuff. Number 2, I usually reserve for friends with benefits. Obviously, they're a backup if number 1 isn't available. Is usually reliable and fun and can give you your O without much hassle. And someone that you actually enjoy. sleeping with, you know. Number 3 is reserved for a fuckboy. Why? Because their communication is spotty and they're notoriously unreliable. But a lot of them are hot, so that's why they get a spot so high up on the list. And spots 4 and 5 are strictly booty calls. People I literally only hit up for the devil's tango. Now here's the catch about rosters. I usually clear mine in the spring. Spring cleaning, if you will. Because if I'm not dating my number 1 by the time spring comes, then I want to be a big old hoe in the summer. Then, come autumn, we rebuild. Now that is all I have time for today. Before I go, I have a couple announcements. If you saw my finessing a fuckboy video, you already saw these. You can skip them. First of all, because I keep getting post banned, I'm probably going to post more of my raunchier content on my backup account. I'm going to keep posting on this one, just not as much. If you want to make sure you're kept up on all my video series, follow me on Instagram. Same handle as my TikTok. You can find all my previous Slut You videos, Finessing a Fuckboy videos, Saturdays for the Boys videos, and Ask Karma videos on there. Next time on Slut You, I'm going to talk about things to look out for when vetting people to hook up with, and how to deal with ghosting. If you want to make sure you see those things, hit that follow button. Until next time, and happy hoeing. Hello and welcome back to Slut University. Depressed edition, because I'm sad. I'm your Professor Karma, and I'm depressed, so you get depression fit. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about things to watch out for when vetting someone to put on your roster and how to deal with ghosting. God, I even sound depressed. Anyway, let's get started. Things to look out for. First of all, before hooking up with someone, find out their last name. Do a quick Google search, check if you have any mutual friends and if you do, who they are and if you're okay with that. Also check if you're like spit sisters with, someone you know. It's not always a problem. I have some friends who hooked up with the same guy and they're fine, but like sometimes some people are crazy. So watch out for that. I'm gonna reiterate this because it's important. Find out when the last time they were tested is. I get a lot of DMs asking me how to ask that or when is the right time to ask that. When you're discussing having sex. And if you're like, what if we don't talk about it before we have sex? Then you're doing it wrong. You should absolutely be talking about sex before you have sex with someone. You should be discussing your likes, your dislikes, your limits, your okays, and when the last time you got tested is. Pay attention to their attitude. When you lay down your expectations and boundaries, see how well received they are. If he's already like, oh, well, blah, he's probably not the right person you want to put on your roster. Pay attention to how they treat customer service people. How they treat customer service people is a good indicator of how they're going to treat you. When you're talking about protection for the first time, talk as if you don't have any birth control and you want to use condoms. It's a really good indicator because if they're like, oh, can you just go on birth control? Oh, can you just do this? They'd rather you be uncomfortable than them, which is a really great sign. Now let's move on to how to deal with ghosting. Obviously ghosting sucks and it's the coward's way out. I've been ghosted more times than I can fucking count that I literally just expect the person I'm talking to do it. Like no matter what, anytime someone ghosts me, I usually try to like fuck with them a little bit, just a little bit. Like my way to get over it, and it's kind of crazy, is to just like spam message them on every single thing that I can possibly think of until I force them to give me the rejection that I deserve. For me, it's mainly just amusing, and then also it'll maybe stop them from doing it again, which is crazy. So I don't recommend that unless you're okay with everyone knowing you're crazy. The truth of the matter is there's no one way to get over it. It's realizing that why would I want someone in my life who does this to people? When someone ghosts you, it's a clear indicator that they don't give a shit about your feelings. They only care about their own. They don't want to have to deal with the guilt or the awkwardness of rejecting you. So they're weak. They're cowardly, and I want a strong person in my life who actually gives a shit about other people and other people's feelings. And it's remembering that and repeating it in your head until you believe it. Understanding that it is not you. You didn't do anything wrong, and that this person just sucks. Now that is all I have time for today. Let me know what you want me to talk about next time because I'm having creative block right now. If you want to make sure you don't miss a class, follow me on Instagram. I post them all on there, easier to find. Links in my link tree. If you want to make sure you see the next class, hit that follow button. Until next time, and happy hoeing.